The Eagles just got some huge news about a legend trying to make a comeback for his final game on Sunday. We'll hear a little bit more from him today on where he stands. Also, Nick Sirianni and a few others give their insight leading up to the big game on Sunday. We hear from Myles Garrett on the Philly trade rumors, and he responds by telling us what he would think about putting on Midnight Green. And ultimately, a shocking update about a young Eagles star. Could his status be in jeopardy at all for the big game? We'll talk about it all, but welcome into A to Z Philly. I'm RB. Do me a favor, like this video, go down below, subscribe to the channel. We hit the big goal of 10K. You all are absolutely incredible, but it's onwards and upwards as we continue to cover this team every single day. And I want to start it off with a quick piece of news. This is simply awesome. Shout out to AJ Brown for making this kid's day. Now, if you didn't hear about the plane tragedy, the crash in Philly on Sunday evening, go check it out. Look, my prayers and my heart to everybody out there affected by this. I hope nobody listening to this was affected personally, but if you were, I'm very sorry for the tragedy. And this little young boy right here, who is a diehard Eagles fan, was coming out of a donut shop with his sister, with his father, and a piece of that plane came down and almost struck his sister in the back of the head, and he jumped in front, took the hit, got knocked out. They had to take him in for brain surgery. Didn't know if he would make it, but he did. And he woke up and his first words were about the Super Bowl, asking his father if he had missed it. And obviously he told him no. And AJ Brown took time to comment on this on Twitter. And he says, "Speedy recovery. You are a hero, young man. I'm going to see you when I get back, hopefully with some hardware. Playing for you on Sunday, my man." So again, you can try to peg AJ to be any type of guy or character, whatever. He is simply a good person, man, and that was a really nice thing to do, and I hope he gets the W to bring it back for this young kid who's an absolute hero, man. That is a heroic act, and he should be proud of himself, man. So hopefully AJ gets to give him some nice gear, and I'll tell you what, man, here are some sayings that are in the Eagles locker room. Kobe's 10 rules, obviously, rest in peace to the legend, and wish he was here to see this game again, but get better every single day. Prove them wrong. Work on your weaknesses. Execute what you practice. Learn from greatness. Things like that are things that Kobe would preach. And they have those pasted up in the Eagles locker room. Well, I'm going to tell you what they should paste up there this week. This image right here. Because once again, the national analysts or, the guys who are apparently experts and know a lot of stuff are sleeping on the Philadelphia Eagles. On Get Up today, only 1 out of 4 people picked the Eagles to beat the Kansas City Chiefs. And to this, I reply, why? You look at every single area, you look at every margin. I've been going through a lot of things. I watched back the other game mostly, still have to look at more. But I keep coming back to the same conclusion that the Philadelphia Eagles are just more talented in almost every single area, every single inch, every single margin, other than maybe coach and quarterback and tight end. Right? But those are only 3 individuals. The Eagles have a complete team. Dallas Goedert's had a great playoff run. You can argue about Patrick Mahomes and his clutch gene. He hasn't had that good of a year. But every time Jalen Hurts has had to go on a clutch drive or make a big play, he has done it this year. And even Nick Sirianni, after that Cleveland Browns, fiasco, toned it down, and he's been great the whole season. So when I look at this game overall, I'm looking at the stats and I'm looking at things like that. The Chiefs, both in the regular season and the postseason, have just been a mid team. Like, they haven't done anything crazy that, jumps off the wall and makes you think, oh, well, that's how they're going to beat the Birds, in my personal opinion. So I know they're just picking the Chiefs because they want to see them win and they want to see history. And I get it, right? You got to put Mahomes away. He always finds a way to make a special play. But I just don't know if he's going to have the opportunity to do that because of how lethal the Eagles are. And again, most importantly, how they beat you, which is by wearing you down, being physical up front, and Saquon Barkley is going to hit the home run. So, look, they should post this right on that quote wall, right? Use it as bulletin board material. Get mad, get fired up. We want to be the underdog. We don't want you to pick us. You don't do it anyway. You haven't done it in prior weeks. So, I just don't get why these guys don't learn, but I can't wait to see what happens. And either way, it's likely going to be Brandon Graham's final game. He says the Super Bowl will be his final NFL game. Quote, "For me, this being my last year, you want to be able to pass the torch to some good hands. I'm just happy I'm able to play in this last one." Obviously, we have to wait and see how it plays out this week. But he says he's on track to return to play in the big game. He's referring to it as his final game. Absolute legend, made the biggest play in Eagles history, and it will be very sad to see him go. It's been weird not having Jason Kelce and Fletcher Cox and other guys like that. But you know what? Time moves on, and what a better way to come back and finish it off. BG sounds like he's playing. I wouldn't be surprised if he does suit up as his final game, but again, you don't want him to take away from other players if he still is not 100%. So we'll see what happens, but good update from Brandon Graham, and he is intent on playing. Another guy that's going to retire next season is Darius Slay. He says next season will most likely be his last. He wants it to be with the Eagles. He says he would love for it to be with the Philadelphia Eagles. And I don't know if that's going to happen. I mean, looking at his contract, looking who the Eagles have on their roster depth-wise, they might be able to move on from Slay. And although I'm still kind of frustrated with Slay after he blocked me and a bunch of others on Twitter earlier this year just for giving our opinions, I've always liked him. I've always liked him as a player. And in the second half of the season, he's really stepped it up. He's been an amazing player for this team. And he continues to make big-time plays. He's honestly one of the best to play the position in the last 15 years. So shout out to Slay. Hope he gets it done and hope he can get that ring. But on the other end, a person on this defense that has to be ready to go is Jalen Carter, because we know he has been the difference maker. And Ian Rappaport put this out today. Eagles standout D lineman Jalen Carter missed his media availability today with an illness. We'll learn later about whether he participated in practice and if so, how much. But no reports came out. We didn't hear whether he was in practice. I'm going to assume if he wasn't there in his media availability, he wasn't there at practice. And it's probably just an illness that he's going through. I just hope that it's not anything worse. I hope he's not severely sick where he's not going to, be the same level of player, have that magnitude of Jalen Carter who can make 2 or 3 big-time plays in a big-time situation and change the game. They were talking to him yesterday, and he said, hey, how about we get to Mahomes? How about we sack him? I know I can get to him, and he's ready to make some big-time plays. So Eagles are going to need Jalen Carter. I would not say my concern level is like out the roof or anything like that. But if he doesn't practice tomorrow and he doesn't continue to practice and you're sitting there saying, hey, like he's questionable, is Jalen Carter going to play? Then I'm going to get a little bit worried because they really do need him. I think he can make a huge impact in this game. I don't think the Chiefs O-line is anything special, especially when they're going up against a talent like Jalen Carter. So definitely a bit of a shocker that came out of nowhere, but let's hope and pray that he is healthy and the whole team is good to go, because they have been a majority of the way. Now, speaking of edge rushers, here was a video of Myles Garrett at the Super Bowl media stuff today, and he was walking through, and some Eagles media personnel and the radio people were screaming at him.
Future Eagle! Future Eagle right here!
Shout out to Ike Reese, man. He screams, future Eagle, future Eagle. Myles Garrett smiles, turns, and walks away. But then a little while after, he was on an interview being asked about the possibility of joining the Eagles. And he says, quote, it would be a hell of a destination, and really just emphasized that he wants to win. We heard the quote yesterday about what he had said a couple years ago. I think it would be a really good fit. And I think Howie Roseman, if the fans continue to put this out there that, hey, Myles Garrett, is going to go out there and make it happen. I just have a gut feeling, but we'll worry about that when the season ends. This team is focused. Nick Sirianni was asked today about whether there is extra pressure to win the bowl. And he says, shoot, there's always pressure in this game. Have you been to Philadelphia? I like that mindset. Everything is on your shoulders, the weight of the world. That's how it should feel, right? This is such an important game because it is hard to beat the best. It is hard to get to this moment. And it's hard to get back. We saw that firsthand last year, right? You come in thinking you're going to go back. You have a good enough team. You start 10-1, and then you collapse. You never know, right? Who's going to be on the team this year? Who's going to be on the team next year? A guy could fall off. You never know, right? As much as I don't believe this, I mean, who knows what Saquon could look like next year, right? He's 28 years old. So, look, I believe in the longevity of this team. I like how Howie Roseman has built it with the building blocks, but this is the mindset you have to have. You have to win this game. Like, don't forget that. Appreciate that you're here, but go out there and finish the job. And I think that's what they're going to do. And lastly, Saquon Barkley asked about his favorite play of the season. He says, I want to say the snow touchdown against the Rams, but then I forget I jumped over someone backwards. So that just goes to show how many memorable moments he has had. Maybe the best signing ever in Eagles history, maybe the best signing in NFL history. I don't know. But Saquon's going to finish the job, and I believe he's going to do that. I believe that he's going to be the main anchor as to why the Eagles get it done on Sunday. And I just wanted to be here. I'm just getting more and more antsy as the days go on. I'm just ready for the kickoff. I'm going to be, so tense during the game. But man, if they get it done, it's going to be a really, really special feeling and a special night. So give me your thoughts down below on all this stuff, man. Appreciate everybody for tapping in. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, I will catch you on the next one. Also, real quick, let's go ahead and give a shout out to our sponsor of today's video. It is the great BetMGM. Enjoy all your favorite sports like never before at BetMGM. Sign up using our code ATOZPA and get up to $1,000 back in bonus bets if you do not win your first bet. When you register with BetMGM, you'll get instant access to parlays, live bets, player props, and daily boosted odds specials. And with BetMGM at your fingertips, every play and every game matter more than ever. So sign up today with the bonus code ATOZPA and get up to $1,000 back in bonus bets if you do not win your first bet. Brought to you by BetMGM, the sportsbook born in Vegas. Download the app today. Please gamble responsibly.